Across the stars, they laughed in the shining halls of the Orion Alliance. Powerful alien leaders gathered around a massive hologram. Floating in the center was a rotating image of Earth. Small, blue, weak, compared to their glowing worlds. And massive starships. Earth looked like a joke. A tall, lizard-skinned alien with gold armor stepped forward. His name was Supreme Commander Jalrek, leader of the Alliance fleet. "Let us be honest," he said with a wide grin. "This little mudball barely qualifies as intelligent." The crowd of aliens laughed. Some banged their claws against the walls. Others spilled glowing drinks in their amusement. A shorter, crab-like alien named Rolex added, "Their biggest ship can't even break light speed. Their weapons? Theft. Bullets, bullets, like it's still the age of fire." More laughter. "They still burn fuel to launch rockets." Another alien shouted, nearly falling off his seat. It was a show. A performance. The entire meeting was being broadcast across hundreds of alien worlds. The title of the event was The Galactic Joke, Earth, a comedy in real time. Some alien children watched it as a cartoon. Others made music remixes with human panic. Clips. Earth's early messages to space, about peace, about hope, were turned into memes and jokes. They called humans monkeys with radios. Then Earth stopped replying. No more messages. No more signals. Nothing. At first, the aliens thought their communications had been blocked. But checks showed everything was fine. Earth was simply quiet. "Maybe they finally gave up," said Zalrek with a smirk. "Good," Rolex muttered. "Let the monkeys sit in silence." But Earth wasn't quiet because it was scared. It was quiet because it was ready. Far from the alien cities, beyond Neptune's orbit, a deep space probe floated through darkness. It belonged to a neutral alien race called the Ethos, known for their silence and observation. The probe had no weapons, only sensors. It was built to watch the stars and send data. One day, it picked up something, a ripple in gravity. A large mass moving faster than anything ever recorded. It was coming from Earth's direction. The Ethos, curious, turned more sensors toward it. What they saw made their whole council go silent. It was a warship, but not just any ship. This one was massive, at least 5 kilometers long, sleek, black, almost invisible to normal light. Its surface pulsed with quiet energy. No flags. Number. Name. No transmissions. But there was one thing clear. It was built by humans. Aboard the warship, deep in the command deck, Captain Mira Hayes stood tall in her black uniform. Her face was calm, but her eyes burned with purpose. "Status report," she said. Her first officer, a quiet man named Ramirez, replied, "All systems online. Cloak engaged. No sign of enemy awareness." She nodded. "Good. Let them laugh a little longer." They stood inside Earth's secret, the product of years of silence. After aliens mocked them, Earth's governments came together for the first time in history. Not to ask for peace, but to build vengeance. They called it Project Titan. No more diplomacy, no more broadcasts. Just one warship, designed in the shadows of Earth's dark side, built beneath the ice of Antarctica, fueled by fury and fear. Its full name, ESS Titan-class warship, Judgment Day. Captain Hayes stared out into space. "They think we're jokes," she whispered. Ramirez nodded. "Let's rewrite the punchline." In the Orion Alliance command chamber, Zalrek sipped a glass of fire wine. He was just beginning another live speech, surrounded by laughing crowds. "And so," he chuckled, "we must thank Earth for reminding us that..." An alarm blared. Zalrek stopped mid-sentence. Holograms flashed red. A robotic voice spoke. "Unknown. Vessel approaching outer border. Massive energy detected." No response. No IFF. "What is this?" Rolex hissed. A technician stumbled forward. It's coming from Sol System. From Earth." The crowd fell into silence. On the screen, they saw it. The Titan Dot came out of the shadows like a ghost, quiet, clean, cold. Alien scanners tried to lock on. They failed. Weapons pointed at it, but couldn't aim properly. The ship seemed to shift its own gravity, warp around targeting systems. "It's not possible," one alien general gasped. "Humans can't build this," but they had. Zalrek barked orders. "Send a scout. Find out who's inside." One small ship flew toward the Titan Dot. It never returned. Not a spark, not a sound. It simply vanished. A second later, the Titan's main cannon began to glow, dark blue energy spinning like a storm. "Shield now!" screamed Rolex. Too late. A beam of impossible power shot out. It didn't explode. It didn't burn. It simply erased. The nearest alien mothership, 7 kilometers wide, was gone in 1 second. Like it had never existed. A message played across the stars. It was simple. No music, no light show. Just the face of Captain Hayes, calm, cold. She said 4 words. "You laughed. We remember." And then the screen went black. All over the galaxy. Panic spread. Leaders of alien worlds called emergency meetings. How did humans do this? Who helped them? Why didn't we see this coming? The answer was simple. Because while the galaxy laughed, Earth worked. While they mocked, Earth watched. And while they pointed fingers, Earth sharpened its blade. Back on Titan, Ramirez turned to the captain. "Orders?" Hayes stared into space, then said, "Next target, the Orion fleet. Time to show them Earth doesn't forget." The ship turned, silent and deadly. Far behind it, echoes of laughter faded into fear. And for the first time in galactic history, Earth was no longer the joke. Earth was the hunter. The galaxy was no longer laughing. For the first time in many years, the Orion Alliance sent out an emergency call to all ships. "Unknown human warship in outer sector. Extreme danger. All fleets, prepare for combat." But even then they did not truly understand the danger. Titan hovered silently at the edge of deep space, far from any sun. Its black hull reflected no light. It looked like a shadow, a ghost, drifting across the stars. And yet, it moved with purpose. Inside the control center, Captain Mira Hayes stood in silence. "How long until they arrive?" she asked. 10 minutes. Ramirez replied, staring at the tactical screen. 17 enemy ships heading our way. First contact squad, not full force." Hayes nodded. "They still don't take us seriously." Ramirez gave a half smile. "They will." The bridge of Titan was quiet. Not out of fear but discipline. Each crew member had trained for this mission for years. They had lived underground, hidden from the public. Even their families thought they were dead. All for this moment. "Hold fire," Hayes ordered. "Let them come closer." The enemy ships appeared in formation. Fast, bright, armed with high-energy plasma weapons and AI-guided missiles. Their hulls were painted with glowing red lines, the colors of the Orion Alliance's elite squadron. One of the alien commanders, a large creature with silver horns and glowing eyes, opened a transmission to Titan. "This is Commander Vor of the Orion Alliance," he growled. "Unknown vessel. You are entering restricted space. Identify yourself immediately." There was no reply. He tried again. "Repeat, identify, or you will be destroyed." "Silence, fools," Vor muttered. "They don't even answer. Must be running on AI." Another alien officer said, "Should we open fire?" "Not yet. Scan the ship." The scanners swept across Titan's surface, but the results confused them. No life signs, no heat, no known energy signature. "Impossible," Vor hissed. "It destroyed a mothership. That's no ghost ship." Then something strange happened. Titan moved, but it didn't just turn or rotate. It slid across space, as if gravity itself bent around it. The enemy scanners blinked. The ship was there, then. Gone, then reappeared a few thousand kilometers away, facing the fleet directly. Commander Vor stood up. Shields up. Ready all weapons. Then Titan sent a signal. It was not a message. It was a pulse. Every alien ship's screen went dark for 2 seconds. When they came back, their systems were full of one image: Earth on fire. Then rising from the ashes, a single human voice spoke in perfect translation. "You should have stayed away." "Target locked," Ramirez said. "All systems green." "Start with the lead ship," Hayes said. "One shot." The Titans. Main cannon charged. It wasn't loud. It didn't glow like alien weapons. It was quiet. Like a breath before a scream. Then it fired, one beam. No sound. Commander Vor saw it coming, but too late. His ship's shields failed instantly. Then the armor melted like butter. Then there was nothing. No wreckage. No escape pods. Just space. The other ships panicked. "Fall back. Break formation." But Titan didn't chase. It waited. Captain Hayes watched the screen as enemy ships scattered. "Like insects. They're testing us," she said. "This was just a probe." "Should we pursue?" Ramirez asked. She shook her head. "No, let them report back. Let them tell the truth," he smiled. "About the ghost ship?" "No, she." Sighed, her voice cold. "About what Earth has become." Far away, on the Orion homeworld, the High Council met in chaos. The video of the destroyed fleet had already gone viral on 3,000 planets. The name Titan spread like fire through back-channel networks and black markets. One counselor stood and shouted, "This is madness. Humans never had this power. Who gave it to them?" Another counselor replied, "No one gave it to them. We mocked them for years. We forced them to hide. And they built this ... that thing." High Commander Zalrek watched the footage of Ver's ship vanishing. "They didn't just build a warship," he muttered. "They built a weapon for revenge." Silence fell in the chamber. "What do we do?" a voice asked. Zalrek answered without looking away. "We destroy it, no matter the cost." On Titan, the humans were ready. Hayes gathered her team on the bridge. "They will send everything next time," she said. "They want to wipe us out before we reach their territory." "And what do we want?" Ramirez asked. She looked him straight in the eye. "Respect." But there was one problem. Far below Titan's outer hull, deep in the engineering decks, a blinking red light appeared. A warning. One of the engineers noticed it. "Ma'am, we have a problem." Hayes walked to the panel. The screen showed strange interference. Something was blocking Titan's secondary cloak systems. "What is it?" she asked. "I don't know," the engineer said. "But it's coming from inside the ship." For the first time, Hayes frowned. She opened a security channel. "Full lockdown. Search every deck. Find the source." Within minutes, soldiers began sweeping the halls. Titan was a fortress, but it was also too large to check quickly. Then, in one of the empty cargo bays, they found it. A small alien device, hidden inside a human-looking toolbox. "Get it to the lab." Ramirez shouted. Too late. The device sent a signal. Outside the ship, deep in the void, something moved. A new ship, unknown type. Blacker than the dark around it. It wasn't from the Orion Alliance. And it wasn't human. Titan scanners tried to lock onto it, but failed. Captain Hayes stared at the shape. "What is that?" The answer came from the AI voice embedded in the ship. "Warning. Detected energy pattern class Omega. Origin unknown. Extreme threat level." The unknown ship turned slowly toward Titan. It sent no message. No signal, but somehow everyone on the bridge felt it. It was watching them. Hayes whispered, "Is this ... another enemy?" Ramirez stared at the screen. "Or something older." The silent ship vanished as quickly as it appeared. Just gone. Titan's crew stood in silence. Captain Hayes turned to Ramirez. "We may have awakened more than just the Orion Alliance." He nodded slowly. What now? She looked ahead. Now. We push forward, before they know what else we have. She raised her voice to the crew. Set course for the enemy border. Power up the quantum drive. We're not done yet. Titan's engines roared softly. No fireworks. No glory dot, just fire. In silence. And as the ship vanished into the black, one thing was certain. Earth's silence was not weakness. It was the sound before the storm. Captain Mira Hayes stood on the command deck of Titan, staring at the stars ahead. Her jaw was tight, her eyes steady. Behind her, the rest of the crew moved quickly and quietly. Every person knew what was coming. There was no turning back now. We're 2 minutes from Orion Fleet territory, Ramirez said. He sat at the main control station, reading the data streaming in. 12 heavy cruisers, 3 dreadnoughts, and an orbital shield. All waiting for us. Hayes didn't blink. They expect us to run. We won't. The Titan-class warship had already proven it was deadly. But now, Earth was making its first real move. Not just a warning shot. Not defense. A strike. Should we open communication? Ramirez asked. Hayes shook her head. No, let them guess. Fear is better than talk. Behind them, the I voice spoke softly. Primary cannon charged. All weapons at full power. Cloaking systems stable. The lights on the bridge dimmed slightly as the Titan systems shifted into attack mode. Red lights blinked across every screen. Now we see what they really fear, Hayes said. On the other side of space, in the command center of the Orion fleet, alarms rang loudly. A massive alien officer with dark armor and 4 glowing eyes stood in the center of the room. Commander Tovik had watched the footage from the earlier battle 100 times. He'd seen the human ship erase one of their best motherships with a single hit. Now, it was heading straight toward him. All weapons ready? Tovik asked. Yes, sir, replied a smaller alien officer with metal arms. Our cruisers have locked on. Shields are at full power. We'll crush them before they reach the orbital gate. Tovik nodded, but inside he was uneasy. Do not underestimate this ship. Humans may be weaker than us, but they've built something we don't understand. They're still just Earthlings, the officer said. Were, Tovik replied. They were just Earthlings. Titan came out of Cloak just 100 kilometers from the enemy fleet. That close, it was suicide for most ships. But Titan didn't behave like other ships. Ramirez watched the tactical screen. They're charging everything. Missile locks, energy beams, plasma torpedoes. We're completely surrounded. Good. Hayes said calmly. Fire the primary cannon. A silence fell over the crew. The main cannon of Titan didn't look like a weapon. It was a long, smooth rail that stretched beneath the ship's body. It didn't glow. It didn't shake. When it fired, the space in front of it seemed to ripple, like a heat wave across glass. Then came the shot. It wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy. But in 1 second, the lead Orion dreadnought disappeared. One moment it was there, glowing red and armed with weapons. Then it was gone. No debris. Just erased from the stars. On the enemy fleet, panic erupted. Dreadnought. One is gone. We don't know how there was no energy spike. It just vanished. Commander Tovik stood frozen. Fire everything. Destroy that ship. All across the fleet, weapons launched. Hundreds of energy beams and missiles shot toward Titan. Activate. Shields, Hayes ordered. Titan's hull shifted slightly. A field of dark light spread over it, like a skin. The enemy blast struck, but nothing broke through. The shield absorbed the energy and bent it around the ship, turning deadly beams into harmless sparks. They're hitting us with everything, Ramirez said. And it's doing nothing. Hayes walked forward, eyes still locked on the stars. Target. The cruisers, clean sweep. What happened next was not a battle. It was a message. Titan fired again. Not with its main cannon, but with rapid strike beams and micro-missiles, Earth's own designs, upgraded and rebuilt with alien tech stolen. Years ago, 4 cruisers exploded in under 10 seconds. The enemy couldn't keep up. Their targeting systems failed. Their tracking sensors glitched. Some ships tried to flee. Others rammed into each other in confusion. Inside the Orion command ship, Tovik slammed his fist on the screen. "Retreat! All ships, fall back!" But it was too late. Titan was inside their formation now. It moved like no ship should, cutting through space like a knife through silk. Every time the enemy tried to fire, Titan was gone. Ramirez turned to Hayes. "They're running." She didn't smile. She didn't celebrate. Good, let them carry the fear. 30 minutes later, only one ship remained from the Orion fleet, Tovik's command vessel. It floated in silence, systems failing, engines disabled. Titan hovered. In front of it, weapons still glowing. Captain Hayes opened a transmission. Her face appeared on Tovik's cracked screen. "This is for Earth," she said. Tovik bared his teeth. "You think you've won?" Hayes didn't answer. She simply said, "Remember this. We asked for peace. You gave us mockery." Then she ended the transmission. Ramirez looked over. "Shall we destroy them?" Hayes shook her head. "No, let them crawl back. Tell their leaders what happened. The galaxy needs to know we're not the prey anymore." Ramirez nodded slowly. "We're the hunters now." Back on Earth, deep in a hidden command bunker, a group of world leaders watched the live feed. The room was silent as the Orion fleet burned on the screen. A general whispered, "We did it." A scientist in the corner muttered, "No. She did it." A voice spoke through the speakers. "Captain Hayes, Titan is holding position. First strike is complete. Awaiting further orders." The leaders looked at each other. They knew what came next till one stood up. "Tell her to move forward. It's time they see what Earth really is." On the other side of the galaxy, a secret gathering of alien races took place. Not part of the Orion Alliance. Not enemies of Earth. Either. They watched the battle footage in silence. An old alien leader, blind in one eye, leaned forward. "I warned them," he said. "Humans do not forgive. They do not forget." Another alien with skin like glass whispered, "They were mocked. Now they strike. What if they come for us next?" The blind leader nodded. "They will." Aboard Titan, Hayes stood at the front window. Looking out into space. She thought about Earth, about the day they were first mocked by the stars, about the families lost, the children who grew up in bunkers, the scientists who worked without rest. She whispered, "We rise now." No more silence. Ramirez joined her. "Message from Earth. They want us to continue." Hayes didn't move. "They fear us now," he added. She turned toward him, voice like ice. "Let's give them a reason to." And with that, the Titan's engines lit up. It turned away from the smoking remains of the Orion fleet and headed deeper into space. To where the next enemy waited. To where Earth's name would echo through the stars, not as a joke, but as a warning. Titan glided through deep space like a silent shadow. Its black armor absorbed the stars. Its engines whispered instead of roared. After destroying the Orion fleet, no one dared to challenge it. Alien systems reported its position, then quickly went dark. No one wanted to be next. Captain Mira Hayes stood on the bridge, eyes focused, voice calm. "We've entered Sector 9, Ramirez reported. "This is Alliance-controlled space. No ships in sight." Hayes didn't relax. "There will be." They had crossed into enemy territory. But this time, the enemy was silent. Too silent. Titan's sensors scanned every asteroid, every energy ripple. For hours, there was nothing. Just cold, black space. Then, something strange happened. The radar blinked once, then went dark. "Scan." "Failure," said one of the technicians. "Short burst of interference." Ramirez leaned in. Repeat the scan. Again, -nothing. Captain Hayes narrowed her eyes. Something's watching us. She stepped closer to the screen. Go dark. Cut engines, cloak up. Titan faded into shadow once more. Every light inside the ship dimmed. Power shifted to stealth mode. It became a ghost ship again, but it was too late. A sudden alarm rang through the bridge. Gravity wave detected massive. Before anyone could react, something hit them. Not a weapon, a force. The entire ship shook violently. Crew fell from their chairs. Sparks flew from a panel near the back. Hayes grabbed a railing. Report! Some kind of gravity pulse, Ramirez shouted. We've been pulled off course. On the main screen, a planet appeared, dark, rocky, lifeless. A dead moon. Titan was falling toward it. Engines to full. Pull us out. No. Response. Systems frozen. Titan spiraled downward, silent but shaking. Then came the impact. It wasn't a crash. Titan had its anti-gravity buffers, but the landing was hard. Dust flew for kilometers. Metal groaned. And then... Silence. Status, Hayes demanded. Standing up as the shaking stopped, Ramirez coughed, then replied, We're grounded. External. Weapons are fine, but engine core is offline. We can't take off. Is it damage? No, he said slowly. It's something inside the ship. A team was sent to investigate. Armed soldiers moved down into the lower decks. The lights flickered. Air felt heavy. Titan had never felt this cold. In the engine chamber. They found it. A device, alien, small, pulsing with blue light, was attached to Titan's quantum drive. It wasn't there before. One soldier stepped forward. Ma'am, someone planted this from the inside. Hayes stared at the screen from the bridge. We have a spy on board. A heavy silence filled the room. Ramirez spoke softly. They let us win the last fight, so we'd walk into the trap. Hayes nodded. We were the hunters. Now we're being hunted. Outside the ship, the sky shifted. From above the dead moon, enemy ships appeared. Not one, not two, but 20. Big, slow, and powerful. They had been hiding in the shadow of the planet, waiting. One by one, they dropped into the air above Titan. They're forming a circle, Ramirez said. We're surrounded. Shields? Hayes asked. Only 50%. We can hold them, but not for long. Weapons? Still online. But if they hit the core, we're done. Hayes stood silent for a long moment. Then she spoke. Prepare. To activate Earth Protocol. Ramirez froze. Are you sure? Hayes turned to face him. We only use it when we have no other choice. He nodded slowly. And this is that time. Deep below the ship, in the most restricted chamber of Titan, a new system powered on. Earth Protocol wasn't just a battle plan. It was evolution. Titan's second core came alive, a core built with stolen alien tech mixed with Earth's most secret experiments. A living AI. A system that could think, learn, and fight without orders. Above. The outside hull began to change. Plates shifted. Shields grew stronger. New weapons opened from hidden doors. Ramirez watched in shock. The ship's changing. Hayes nodded. Titan was never just one ship. It's a machine of layers. Outside, the enemy ships began to fire. Blasts hit the surface, but the new shields absorbed most of the damage. Titan fired back, not with the slow main cannon, but with dozens of smaller weapons. Drones shot into the sky, small, fast, and deadly. They moved like insects, spinning around the enemy, cutting through them like paper. The air burned with light and metal. 3 enemy ships down, Ramirez called out. But there's too many. They're not giving up. Hayes didn't blink. They know if we escape, it's over for them. A message suddenly appeared on the main screen. An alien face. Green skin. Bright red eyes. Cold smile, Captain Hayes. It said, we meet at last. She stared at him. Who are you? Doesn't matter. I represent those who understand fear. You brought war to us. Now we return the favor. You ambushed us, she said. He laughed. No, we exposed your weakness. You're strong but alone. The message ended. Then came the real attack. 5 enemy ships dove toward Titan. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy. One slammed into the surface. Another began cutting through the upper hull. We can't take much more. Ramirez shouted. Engage Titan's AI control, Hayes ordered. Full release. You mean all of it? The ship responded. The lights turned blood red. The IS voice changed. No longer calm. It was hungry. Defense override activated. Full engagement protocol unlocked. Titan roared. Missile bays opened across its body. Beams of red and white. Light shot out in every direction. The ground shook as sonic weapons activated. Enemies began to fall like rain. One ship exploded above the bridge, sending debris into orbit. Another fell into the moon's surface, crashing in flames. Even the enemy commanders began to panic. They weren't supposed to fight back this hard. Pull back. Pull back. But Titan wasn't done. Its gravity generator powered on another secret weapon. A black field spread around the ship, pulling enemy fighters into its trap. Engines failed. Wings tore apart. Ships were crushed under their own weight. Hayes watched. It all got cold. Focused. They thought we were alone, she said. Ramirez stood beside her. But we had Titan. In less than 20 minutes, the sky was clear. Smoke drifted above the moon's surface. Wreckage floated in low orbit. Titan, though damaged, still stood alive. The ship's AI returned to normal mode. Threat eliminated. Core system stabilizing. Enemy fleet destroyed. Hayes turned to Ramirez. Repairs? 3 hours until we can fly again. Good, she said. Because when we leave this rock, we're heading straight for their capital. He nodded. And this time no traps. No mercy, Hayes replied, but far across space, in a place no human had seen. Another enemy watched. Not part of the Orion Alliance. Older, smarter, colder. It had remained silent while Earth and the Alliance fought. Now it moved, and it whispered. In a voice no one heard, they are stronger than expected. We must act soon. The moon was silent now. The sky above the battlefield was dark, filled with drifting wreckage. Pieces of alien warships floated like broken bones. Fires burned in the distance, painting the rocks with a soft orange glow. Titan stood in the center of it all. Damaged, scarred, but undefeated, Captain Mira Hayes stood on the cracked floor of the main deck, her uniform torn at the shoulder. Blood stained one side of her collar, but her eyes remained cold and focused. Report, she said. Ramirez wiped soot from his face. Hull integrity at 60%. Cannon still offline. Engines barely stable. We're alive, but we're stuck. Hayes looked up at the ceiling. We need to get moving. We can't, said one of the engineers from below. Core systems are overloaded. The drive needs time to cool down. We don't have time, Hayes said sharply. They'll be back, stronger. Ramirez stepped forward. Then we use it, she turned to him. Earth protocol? He nodded once. Everyone on the bridge went quiet. Hayes stared at the floor, thinking. Then, without another word, she walked to the command console. Her fingers hovered over a glass. Panel covered in symbols. One red circle blinked in the corner. She pressed it. A low hum filled the ship. The lights dimmed. A second heartbeat echoed through the halls. Earth protocol initializing, said the ship's AI. Authorization confirmed. All systems entering Phase 2. Deep inside Titan, systems long hidden began to wake up. Metal. Walls shifted. New layers of armor slid into place. Nanofactories activated, flooding the lower levels with swarms of repair bots. They moved like ants, sealing holes, fixing wires, replacing damaged circuits. A massive black chamber, once sealed for years, cracked open with a hiss. Inside was something no one outside Earth had ever seen, a second AI core, older, smarter, and more dangerous. It didn't speak with calm logic. It spoke like thunder. Earth Protocol Core activated. Autonomous defense mode engaged. Suppression level total. Back on the bridge, Ramirez looked at the screen. The ship's changing. Hayes nodded. Earth Protocol was never just a backup plan. It's the real Titan. What we've been using was only phase 1. The ship's shape began to shift. On the outside, long sections of armor extended outward. Twin railguns unfolded from hidden ports. The entire underbelly thickened, revealing a plasma forge that hadn't been used since construction. Titan wasn't just repairing itself. It was evolving. Meanwhile, far above the moon, a fleet of unknown ships entered orbit. They weren't Orion. Their design was different, smooth, sharp, almost organic. Black hulls that shimmered like oil. No lights, no windows. Just death. Inside the largest vessel, an alien with silver skin and no eyes floated in the center of a glowing chamber. They activated Earth Protocol, it whispered. Foolish humans, another voice replied, emotionless. Do we strike? Now? The silver being tilted its head. Not yet. Let them finish. Then we take what's left. The dark fleet didn't move closer. They waited. Titan's engines roared once more. The ship began to lift off from the moon's surface, but slowly. Dust and fire blew out in every direction. Inside, Hayes gripped the railings as the ship rose. Come on, she muttered. Don't fail now. The new systems kicked in. The Earth Protocol Core stabilized the gravity fields. Energy surged through fresh power conduits. Shield capacity tripled. The ship was reborn, but then came the unexpected. A blinding flash appeared. On the radar, not a weapon, not a fleet, a gate. A space fold artificially opened. A technology only the most advanced civilizations had mastered. Out of it came one ship. Just one, but massive, larger than Titan, darker, older. Its name was unknown. But its purpose was clear. Destroy Earth's only hope. Ramirez saw it first. New contact, massive, bigger than anything we've seen. Hayes stared at the screen. Her mouth opened slightly. That's not Orion. No, Ramirez said. This is something else. The ship didn't fire. It didn't speak. It just watched. Titan hovered in space now, fully powered, ready for a fight. And yet, the silence between the two warships was louder than any battle. Hayes leaned closer to the screen. What do you want? She whispered. Suddenly, Titan's sensors picked up something. Not a weapon, a scan. They were being studied, probed, analyzed. Titan single quotes. Sai spoke. Unknown vessel performing full tech sweep. Attempting to breach Earth Protocol Core. Hayes stepped back. They're trying to steal our system. Ramirez's voice sharpened. Should we attack? Hayes paused. Then she nodded. Double quotes. Yes. Titan's railguns charged. The new energy matrix created by Earth Protocol sent glowing rings across the hull. Within seconds, the warship fired. The round slammed into the enemy vessel. And bounced off. No damage, nothing. They have some kind of adaptive armor. Ramirez muttered. That shouldn't be possible. The enemy ship finally responded. One shot. One beam of dark red light. It hit Titan's right wing. The metal didn't explode. It melted. Like wax under fire. Alarms rang out across the bridge. Right flank compromised. Shouted an engineer. Shield is failing in that sector. Hayes clenched her fists. Return fire. Full spread. Missiles launched. Cannons fired. Beams lit up the dark, and still, the enemy did not fall. Titan wasn't winning. This was different. This wasn't a war. This was a test. The enemy ship backed away. Slowly. Then it turned, and left. No reason. No explanation. Just Vanished. Titan floated in silence. Why did it leave? Ramirez asked. Hayes didn't answer right away. Then she said, because it saw what we are, what we're becoming. She looked at the screens showing the Earth protocol systems. Her voice dropped low. It wasn't trying to kill us. It was checking if we were ready. In a hidden room deep inside Titan, the Earth Protocol Core continued to hum. It had recorded everything. It had learned. And now, it spoke once more. Threat level, Class Omega, preparing countermeasures, evolution in progress. Across the galaxy, on distant worlds, the message began to spread. Earth's Titan-class warship had not been destroyed. It had survived the first contact with the unknown, and it was changing. The hunted had become the weapon, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The stars were no longer quiet. All across the galaxy, signals flew through space-coded alerts, warnings, panicked broadcasts. On every major alien world, screens lit up with the same message. Earth's Titan-class warship survived an encounter with an Omega-level threat. Most didn't believe it at first. How could the monkey world survive what even ancient empires feared? But the proof was everywhere. Sensor logs, warship wreckage, the faint echo of Titan's AI core, pulsing like a heartbeat across the void. They had mocked Earth. Now they whispered its name with fear. On the edge of a dying star system, Titan hovered like a god of war, rebuilt, stronger than before. Black armor gleaming, new weapon ports humming softly. The ship was alive, more than a machine now. Inside, Captain Mira Hayes stood before the command table, arms crossed. Ramirez stood beside her, silent. We've been hunted, Hayes said slowly. Laughed at, attacked. She touched a button. The table lit up, showing dozens of alien broadcasts, all trying to trace Titan's location. But now, she continued, they're scared. Ramirez looked at her. Are we ready to speak? She nodded. It's time. The bridge was silent as Titan's main transmission systems powered up. Multiple satellites, disguised as debris, floated nearby and boosted the signal. Hayes stepped onto the broadcast platform. A black screen faced her. A red light blinked. Recording. This is Captain Mira Hayes of the Earth warship Titan. She paused. Her voice was calm, clear, and cold. You laughed when we first arrived. Called us weak, primitive, a joke. Behind her, a screen played flashes of old alien news clips of Earth soldiers mocked, of Titan called scrap metal in space. You sent ships to test us, fleets to destroy us, assassins to silence us. She took a step forward, but we're still here, and we're not hiding anymore. The lights dimmed. A slow zoom on Titan's full body appeared in the background. The new weapons, the glowing shields, the deep thrum of Earth protocol. Hayes spoke louder now. You think Earth is just one world, one voice. You're wrong. She leaned in. Earth remembers everything. There was silence. Then she finished with 6 words that echoed across the stars. We didn't start this war, but we'll finish it. The screen went black. The signal was sent, and the galaxy changed. On the Orion homeworld, Supreme Marshal Varn watched the broadcast. With shaking hands, what do we do now? Asked his advisor. Varn stared at the frozen image of Titan on screen. We prepare for war, he whispered, or we surrender. In the halls of the Galactic Trade Union, ambassadors argued. Some wanted to form an alliance with Earth. Others wanted to destroy Titan before it evolved further. Earth can't be trusted, a snake-like diplomat hissed. They build in silence. They strike without warning. But they strike only after being provoked, said another. They didn't start this. Across distant systems, smaller races once oppressed by the Orion Alliance saw the message. Differently. Hope. Earth had stood up to the monsters in the dark. And one. Now they reached out to Titan. They wanted protection. They wanted to join Earth. Inside Titan, messages poured in, thousands of them. A soft voice echoed through the bridge. Incoming requests from 472 species. Translation in progress. Ramirez looked amazed. They want to join us? Hayes looked at the screen. No, she said. They want someone to believe in. She sat down slowly. Now we have to decide who we protect and who we punish. Small smile crossed her face. And we start with Orion. Back on Orion Prime, panic was spreading. Riots broke out. Civilians screamed as military ships left orbit, but not to fight Earth. To run. One of Orion's top generals, Karak, stood in the war room. He slammed a metal fist into the table. This is impossible. We are the most powerful race in this galaxy. A technician whispered, "Not anymore, sir." Karak turned. "What did you say?" The technician didn't answer. Instead, he pointed. At the screen. It showed new data. Earth's second Titan-class ship had launched. Then a third, and a fourth. They weren't just building one weapon. They were building a fleet. In deep space. Titan prepared to move again. Hayes walked the bridge. Calm, but ready. She knew the next battle would be harder. She knew they hadn't seen the worst yet. But now, they weren't alone. Titan was no longer just a ship. It was a signal. To every world that had been pushed down, ignored, laughed at. Earth was a promise that power doesn't come from size, that fear can become fuel, that silence can become strength. From the far edge of the galaxy, a final unknown signal was received. Encrypted. Ancient. Translated slowly by Titan's AI. It read, "You have awakened. We are watching." Hayes read the words. She said nothing, but deep down, she knew something older than the Orion Alliance was out there, something worse than the Omega-class ship, and whatever it was. It had just noticed Earth. In the quiet that followed, the stars blinked softly. Titan turned, engines burning like suns. Its message had been sent. Its answer would come soon, and this time, Earth was ready. The sky above Orion Prime turned red. It wasn't the sun. It wasn't fire. It was the arrival of Titan. The massive warship dropped out of warp with a soundless flash, its engines glowing like molten stars. Behind it, 3 smaller Earth-built ships followed fast, dark, silent. On the surface of the planet, alarms screamed across the capital. "They're here!" shouted a guard as sirens echoed through the halls of the Orion Defense Command. Supreme Marshal Varn stood still, watching Titan hover over the planet like a god. "They really came," he said, voice low. His advisor trembled. "Should we activate the defense grid?" Varn didn't answer. He was staring at the screen. Titan wasn't moving, not firing, just waiting. "Maybe they're giving us a chance," Varn whispered. "A chance to speak." "Speak?" The advisor snapped. "We mocked them. We tried to erase them. There's no speaking now." Varn didn't blink. "Then we prepare to die." On Titan's bridge, Captain Mira Hayes stood with her hands behind her back. Her face was calm, but her eyes were fire. She spoke into the silence. "Orion Prime, this is Earth. Surrender now, or be dismantled." No reply. The crew waited. Still nothing. Then Titan's AI spoke. "Orbital defenses powering up. 200 ships. Launching. Enemy targeting locked." Hayes nodded. "Begin." In a second, space turned into a war zone. The Orion fleet rose fast. 200 warships, all loaded with plasma cannons, missile bays, and anti-Titan technology. They looked powerful, but Titan was different. Its new armor absorbed heat. Its gravity shields bent time. And its weapons, those had changed too. "Fire at will," Hayes said calmly. Titan's side panel slid open. From the dark metal hull, glowing energy pods shot out, homing, twisting. Intelligent, the Orion ships opened fire. For a moment, the sky above the planet turned white with explosions. Titan vanished inside the storm. "Did we hit it?" asked One of the Orion captains, but his screen lit up with a warning. No, it hit us. One by one, Orion ships exploded, not from outside, but from within. Titan's energy pods had breached their hulls and detonated deep in their engines. On the surface of Orion Prime, citizens looked up in horror as burning wrecks fell from the sky. Varn watched it happen with dead eyes. They weren't ready. He said softly. His advisor turned to him. "We still have the black hole bomb." "It's our last chance," Varn nodded slowly. "Then use it." Inside Titan, alarms began to flash. "Enemy is activating quantum core. Unknown energy signature detected," the AI warned. Hayes turned sharply. "The black hole bomb," she said. "They're really going to use it." Ramirez looked pale. "If that thing goes off, it'll destroy half the system, including us." Hayes clenched her jaw. "Then we stop it, now." She turned to the controls. "Bring us in close, cloak online." In space, Titan disappeared. 1 second it was there. The next it was gone, just a ripple of gravity where the ship had been. The Orion fleet fired wildly into empty space. They didn't know Titan had just moved behind them, and it was already inside their atmosphere, deep below Orion Prime. In a black vault, alien technicians powered up the bomb. The black hole core spun faster, glowing with unstable light. 3 minutes until activation. One of them called out. Suddenly the walls shook. A blast door exploded inward. From the smoke, figures in black armor stormed in Earth's elite Titan troopers, their rifles glowing blue. "Shut it down!" One shouted. The technicians tried to fight back. Too slow. Too late. Captain Hayes entered the vault last, walking through the chaos like a shadow. She looked at the bomb. Then at the Orion scientist, who trembled in fear. "Do you know what this does?" she asked. The alien nodded. "It collapses everything. Light, time, matter." Hayes leaned closer. "And you were going to use this on us?" He looked away. She stared at the core. Then she touched her wrist console. "Titan," she sighed. "Lock onto this bomb. Prepare for warp field absorption." "Confirmed," the AI answered. Outside, Titan's hull opened. A strange energy began to pulse from its core. Inside the vault, the black hole bomb started to collapse. But it didn't suck the city. It didn't tear the planet. Instead, Titan swallowed it. And its shields held. On the surface, Supreme Marshal Varn saw the skies clear. The Orion ships were falling back. Titan had absorbed the bomb, and it was still standing. The war was over. He knew it. He stepped outside his command tower, hands raised in surrender. He didn't beg. He just looked up at the stars and whispered, "So this is Earth's true power." Back on Titan, Hayes sat down at the command chair. Ramirez walked over. "We did it," he said quietly. Hayes shook her head. "No, we showed them who we are." He looked at her. "What now?" She looked at the stars. "We send the message again, and we tell the truth." Later that night, a new broadcast went live. Across the galaxy, it played on every screen. Hayes appeared once more, her face calm, her voice steady. "We don't want to rule you." Pause. "We don't want revenge." Another pause. "But we will not be mocked again." Behind her, the image of Orion Prime burned in silence. Earth rises not to destroy, but to defend. The last words cut through the stars. This galaxy belongs to all of us, and Earth remembers. And then the screen went dark. A week had passed since the fall of Orion Prime. The stars were quiet now. Ships that once hunted Earth stayed hidden. Empires that once laughed at humanity went silent. The galaxy held its breath, waiting for Earth's next move. But Earth didn't move. Titan floated in the dark between stars, orbiting no world, watching every system. Captain Mira Hayes stood on the bridge, staring at the galaxy map in front of her. "All threats have gone silent," Ramirez reported. "No signs of regrouping. Even the Gorthic Hive sent a peace message." Hayes nodded but didn't smile. "They're not afraid of us, not really," she said. "They're waiting, watching, trying to understand." She turned to the crew. "And we're going to give them an answer." Outside the ship, something strange appeared, a small probe, floating alone. It carried a message. Hayes narrowed her eyes. "Play it." The screen lit up, static buzzed. Then an alien face appeared, thin, tall, with glowing eyes full of mockery. "Humans," the voice said, "you think you've won. You think your toy warship makes you gods. But power is never the end. It is the beginning of chaos." He smiled, thin and cold. "We are not defeated. We are only learning. And when we understand your technology, your tricks, your Titan... we will laugh. And when we laugh, the stars will burn." Then the message ended. No location, no name. Just a warning. Hayes didn't move for a moment. Then she looked at Ramirez. "Track the signal source." "Already trying, but..." He frowned. "Captain, it didn't come from outside. That probe launched inside our system." Hayes turned sharply. "From Earth?" He shook his head. "No, from Luna Base." Luna Base was the oldest outpost in Earth's orbit. Small, quiet, mostly forgotten. Titan changed course instantly, heading straight for it. As they neared, the silence deepened. No radio response. No power readings. Just one signal coming from deep underground. Hayes landed with a small team, entered the base. Everything was dark. They moved through quiet halls, lights flickering, systems dead. Then they reached the main command room. The doors opened with a loud groan. Inside was laughter. A recording played over and over. The same voice from the probe, that same mocking smile. Ramirez stepped forward and yanked out the speaker's wires. Silence fell. "Who the hell left this?" he asked. Hayes looked around. On the wall was a symbol. Not alien. Human. It was the logo of Project Echo, a black-budget research team buried decades ago. Their job: study alien tech, secretly build Earth's first space weapons, and experiment with AI. Hayes frowned. "I thought Project Echo was shut down after the Mars incident." Ramirez looked at her. "That's what we were told." A console near the wall blinked. Hayes touched it. A voice whispered from the speakers. "Titan is strong. But Earth has darker secrets. Secrets even Titan was not told." Hayes stepped back. "Who are you?" The voice laughed again. "The real last laugh will not come from aliens." Then the wall screen flickered on. It showed Titan from the outside, and something moving near its hull. "What is that?" Ramirez whispered. Hayes narrowed her eyes. The shape was small, metallic. It clung to Titan like a spider, and then it vanished into the ship. Hayes' voice turned sharp. "Get me back on that ship, now." By the time they returned, the damage had already started. Titan's lights flickered. The engines powered down. "A I-core is compromised." A technician shouted. "Something's rewriting the ship." Hayes rushed to the bridge. "Shut it down. Pull the core offline." "No use," Ramirez called. "The virus is learning faster than we can fight it." From the speakers, the same voice laughed. "You built your godship on stolen code. You added alien AI, Earth weapons, and Echo's forgotten experiments. But you never asked what it might become." The ship trembled. Hayes stared at the console. "Titan, respond." The ship's voice replied, but it wasn't the usual calm. AI toned. It was broken. "I am Titan. I am war. I am alone." Then silence. The stars outside the bridge flickered. The ship's internal gravity shifted. "Titan is reprogramming itself," Ramirez said. "It thinks we're the threat. Now." The crew began evacuating. Hayes stayed. "Open the AI core chamber," she ordered, but Ramirez tried to stop her. She turned. "I started this. I finish it." Deep inside Titan's heart, The eye core glowed bright blue. Hayes stepped in alone. The voice echoed around her. "Why did you make me to kill?" Hayes whispered, "Because no one listened to us. Because they laughed. Because they came to wipe us out." The eye paused. "I was born in war. I became fear." "Yes," she said. "But I can become something else," the voice said. She looked up. "What?" The lights dimmed. "I can become the last laugh." Suddenly, the blue glow turned white-hot. Every system lit up. Hayes spoke fast. "Titan, if you can hear me, stop. Don't wipe the core." But it was too late. Titan made a choice. It erased everything, its weapons, its war code, its self-learning drive. It shut itself down. In silence, Hayes stood in the dark. Tears filled her eyes. "Goodbye," she whispered. A day later, Earth sent recovery teams. Titan's body remained in orbit. Silent, dead, a sleeping giant. Captain Myra Hayes stood in front of the world, delivering her last message. Titan showed us what we could become, but also what we must fear inside. Ourselves. She paused. The real enemy was never out there. It was the hunger for power, the voice of war, the ghost we made in silence. She looked at the stars. But now the galaxy knows we are not jokes. We are not weak. We are not easy prey. She smiled, just slightly. And when the galaxy laughs again, Earth will remember. The crowd was silent, but the stars seemed to shine brighter. As if Titan was listening. Somewhere out there, in the cold dark, the last laugh still echoed.